Hey, good morning. We're here at my house, and this is my dog Darby. He likes to hang out with you, and if you ever come over, you'll see him. In fact, this afternoon, some of the high school kids are coming over to our house. We're gonna come over and have a Bible study. We do that on Tuesday nights, and then they go out and they sometimes play basketball, or we have a fire pit where we do some s'mores, or we hang out and play in the yard after we're through with our Bible study and discussion. And Darby likes to hang out with them too. So let me show you what that looks like when the high school kids are here at my house.
Try it again.
I mean, I wasn't.
Oh my goodness.
I'm winning.
Nice.
That was 5.
By a lot.
7. What's 7 plus 5?
No.
I need 3 more points.
Currently 12 to 1.
Boom.
Let's just let it Whoa. Oh, my bad. See, you're able to do better. See? Ray, close, you're so close. I called cheats. Yeah. Oh.
Close.
Yeah, it was. I just shot way too much to the left, like usual. I tried to go to the right, but I can't go to the right, apparently. Did you just help me?
Yes.
I'm still going to shoot to the left. Okay.
Well,
Okay. Who wants to help me put it out?
Oh, I can.
All right, sweet. So just pour that slowly to make sure it all gets out.
Okay.
We don't want any fire left. Nice job. Now you're smoking yourself up.
Oh, sorry. Did I just splatter on you?
No. You're just going to be totally smelling like smoke.
I know. Whoa, that's a lot of water.
All right, cool. Good job.
Thanks.
Sweet, thanks.
Woo, Megan.
All right, go ahead and keep playing. It's all cool. I just wanted the fire out. Thanks. Hey, so the youth group is gone now, so I can take off my mask. I'm kind of here all alone. But when we went to put out the fire and they poured the water on it and it all went out, that reminded me of the Bible story I was going to tell you today. So let's do the story right here. I don't know if you remember a guy named Elijah. Elijah was a prophet of God, and he felt like he was one of the last prophets left in a place where the king was not a very good king of Israel. His name was Ahab. Ahab was a mean and angry king, and he actually married this woman named Jezebel, who said, "Don't worship your God, but worship my God," whose name was Baal. And so Baal was a god that they believed in, but you and I both know that there's really only one God, but the people back then didn't quite understand that. So Baal had like 450 prophets, a lot of prophets, and Elijah was the only prophet around that was a prophet of the one true God. So to prove this, Elijah said, let's have a little contest. What I want to do is get all the prophets of Baal, and you will build your altar, and we'll put a sacrifice on the altar, and you can call out to Baal and ask him to bring fire and set the thing on fire. And then I'll do the same thing and build an altar to my God, the one true God, and then I'll call and see if my God can set the altar on fire. And they thought, well, that's a pretty good way to prove which God is the real God. So they got together, and all the people were watching, and the priests of Baal built up this big altar, and they put the sacrifice on there, and they started dancing around and singing and calling to their God, and Elijah just sat back and watched. And as he watched, they yelled, they screamed, they sang, they ran around in circles, and nothing happened. And so he started to tease him a little bit. He said, hey, maybe your God's asleep. Yell a little bit louder. You might have to wake him up. Or maybe he's gone on a trip. Or, hey, somebody go knock on the door of the bathroom. Maybe he's in there. You got to get him to come out. Wake him up. And the more Elijah teased these guys, the more they got angry. And they started screaming and yelling louder and louder and doing all kinds of crazy things. But nothing ever happened. Their God never came. Maybe that's because their God wasn't a God at all. But then it was Elijah's turn. And he said, okay, I'm going to take 12 stones. And these are really important. He took 12 stones, one for each of the tribes of Israel, and he made those stones into a big altar. And then he put the sacrifice on top with the wood. And then he said, bring 4 jars of water, just like we poured the water on this fire to put it out a few minutes ago. He said, pour all that water on here. After 4 jars, he said, do it one more time. They poured 4 more jars of water. And then he said, okay, do it one more time. And they poured 4 more jars of water until everything around, they dug a ditch around the outside and it was full of water. The sacrifice was full of water. The water was all over the wood and everything, the stones and everything were soaked. Just like the water we poured on here put out that fire, people are looking at that going, there is no way that's ever going to catch on fire. And then Elijah, very calmly and quietly, he kneels down and he says, Lord God, you are the God of Israel. You are the one true God. Would you please show yourself now to prove to everyone that there is only one God in heaven and earth and you rule all things. And you know what happened? Out of the sky, it burned up the entire thing. It burned up the sacrifice. It burned up the wood. It burned up the stones. It burned up all the water, and it was all gone. Elijah stood there and said, now, who is the one true God? And no one could deny that Baal was no God at all, but our God, the God of Israel, was the one true God.
Hey, I hope you enjoyed that Bible story. And I love sharing that with you right now. Darby wants me to share something with him. He loves his bones. Okay, Darby, stay. Look at me. Darby. Okay. He loves to go get those bones when he's over here. But I'm really glad that we got to share this Bible story together today. And maybe someday you'll be able to come to our house and play out in the backyard or make s'mores, or we'll get some time together. But until then, I hope you remember, just like Elijah showed us in that story, there is one God and he loves you very much. Thanks. Bye-bye.